Nice
Of
to see
course.
you, by the way.
Nice to see you, my friend. It's been
Yeah,
quite some time. I think a couple of years since we had you on a boat, if you
that was a
remember that.
lovely boat ride.
It was a lovely boat ride. Yeah, it's an 88.5 live event is how we brand them on a hornblower cruise. And that was a couple of years ago, all of a sudden, right around the release of Santa Rosa Fangs, which
Yep.
is a great record. And I've been telling people it's an instant indie rock classic.
Oh,
You
thanks.
really, yeah, man. You captured lightning in a bottle for on that record.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. So Matt Costa joining us today. We kind of started off the air a little bit, but how are you coping? Who are you hanging out with? Do you have food in the fridge and toilet paper in the cabinets?
Yeah, I got toilet paper. I've got some canned goods. I've got provisions up the yin yang, so I'm good.
Good. That's really good. And you're calling from Laguna Beach.
I am, yeah.
Are you a Laguna Beach native, or you just found yourself there one day and fell in love with the place?
I moved here about 6 or 7 years ago, and then I found a little cottage that I could stay in. So I've
Yeah,
just been here for the time being, and
it's
it's really
awesome.
nice. Yeah.
So yeah, Santa Rosa Fangs came out like 2 years ago or something like that, and we were just kind of sinking our teeth into that record. It seemed like, and then you hit us with a song called "Make That Change." You were almost moving so fast that I couldn't even catch up with you. But some of those Matt Costa songs, they'll live on our radio station forever. It took us some time to kind of get used to the technology. All our DJs now have home studios. This is actually my bedroom.
Nice.
Yeah, it works. All our DJs are still doing radio shows, which is cool. And now we're doing artist interviews. And it's cool to kind of catch up with some of these artists and, see what their home studio looks like or their living room looks like in the background.
I've just
Um,
got my door here. I'm sorry. I hope that's okay.
that's fine with me. So
Okay.
how long did it take for you to kind of take to the internet and do the live streaming stuff? Because you kind of initiated something called Hilltop Hymns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's that all about?
Well, on my little hilltop home, I decided that I would just do some live broadcasting of just a lot of songs that I don't normally play out live. And so I just started asking people what they want to hear. And so then I was able to work up songs that aren't normally in my set. And it's a weekly thing on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then I took that opportunity as well to just like I wanted to keep doing different stuff with it, So the last one I did, I taught some of my songs to some listeners and viewers, and so I saw they sent me pictures of like people at home with their ukuleles or guitars or piano, whatever, learning the songs, and yeah, so it's been fun, and also connecting with people in their homes and reaching out like I did for the human kind of song, asking them to submit lyrics so we could collectively write a song together.
Yeah, we played it on the air a little bit. It's crazy, like Ben Gibbard and Mavis Staples and some other artists are coming out with songs that are very poignant and pertinent to the times that we're living in right now. So you went online, I think Instagram, right? And you
Yeah,
asked people to contribute lyrics and you pieced a song together. That's incredible.
yeah, I did. I felt like that. Uh, yeah, just hearing people's own voices. It's a different way to write a song. A lot of times, I write a song by I write stuff down, or I'm out in my life collecting things and putting them in the memory banks. But and then the listener attaches their own meaning to it after the fact. And so I thought it was interesting to write a song where everyone has their own meaning. They send in whole songs, or they send in like lyrics, and maybe some are off the cuff, and maybe some were something they've been sitting on for a while. And a lot of it obviously had to do with it was within the first 2 weeks that we were quarantined, so a lot of people were feeling the hit of that, and I felt like then to be a vehicle for that, for people's voices maybe who couldn't, who didn't have an outlet to sing it, and I felt like, well, I can sing all of our collective thoughts together.
Yeah, it's incredible. Again, the song's called a Human Kinda Song from Matt Costa and friends, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you could hear it on the Independent 88.5 FM. I said before, Santa Rosa Fangs came out, then you hit us with a new single. Did you have to, was there a new record in the works, and did you have to, was there a tour? Were you going to roll out another album? Did things have to get postponed or anything like that because of this whole, crisis?
Well, I was working on a record, or I worked on a record over the holiday and the New Year, and so um, then it was. It was. Uh, I guess slotted to come out in the end of this year, which I think it still will. I don't know about touring and things, how that's going to go when people will be able to get in large gatherings again. Um, but in the meantime, I'm able to do the performances from my room, and also I've been, like I said, making kind of some more creative decisions with what I have, like doing a lot more artwork and incorporating that into my into some of the visuals that I feel like go along with the new songs.
Is that something that you take great pride in, is not only writing and recording the music, but putting together the sort of visual aspect of the album art and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think visually, I mean, when I write a song, I hear the melodies and hear the sounds sonically, but when I'm sitting down to write lyrics and when they link up with a melody, it's like when it strikes a visual in my mind, when a song consistently does that when I'm working on it, that's when I feel like I've got something good that will evoke a place and all the things, like a feeling, a place that that just comes from sound. So once I have that, then I feel like it really half of it's done and the other part is going out, and then just filling in those spaces with some imagery that I feel like is pertinent to the songs and to the record. And I feel really happy with this one too. I feel like it's been going there. So it's
Good, man.
nice.
I've been talking to a lot of artists. All of a sudden, like, we made this thing available, and now we have like a backlog of all these interviews that we've been doing, and it's incredible. And a lot of these musicians have said that, they're kind of worried that this album that they just dropped would be like the lost album, because they had to scrap the whole tour, and to promote the record is just a little bit different these days. And you put all the time and effort into writing and recording and putting out a game plan to promote and tour, and then all of that gets scrapped. And almost, it's like some of these artists are now working on their next record all of a sudden, didn't even have time to sink their teeth into the first album, or the one that they recently put out. It's crazy, man. So you're working on music, you're working on art, you're reading any books, or binging on any TV shows at home?
Uh, well, I kind of gone back to I went back to one of my favorite, the first John Steinbeck book I read was called Tortilla Flat. And so I opened that back up the other day and I'm rereading that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Is that a fiction novel?
Yeah, that one's fiction. It's interesting, I've always really liked John Steinbeck and drawn inspiration from his writing and his you know, not only his writing but his techniques and things in writing, and for a time too he lived in Laguna Beach. He wrote one of his first novel, or like a collection of short stories called The Pastures of Heaven, and he wrote that right off 3rd Street, a couple blocks from where I live. So there's a little bit of a little bit of a connection there.
Um, it's hard for me to get into a book. I have that book about Laguna Beach history,
Uh-huh.
the hippie side of things. It's called something Sunshine, Orange
Oh yeah,
Sunshine,
Orange
I think.
Sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah, did you read that one?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah, because being, I spent some time in Laguna Beach as well, and just the culture, it kind
yeah,
of sucks you in, man.
yeah,
I was all in, and I bought in on the whole the community and the history of it all.
yeah.
So I have that book on my shelf, and these days I'm really interested in reading books about rock and roll. I've been meaning to get to the memoir from the artist Mike Doty,
Okay.
from
Yeah.
the band Soul Coughing. His book is called The Book of Drugs,
Oh yeah.
and I just talked to Mikel from the band The Airborne Toxic Event, and he's putting out a record in a few months, and he's publishing a memoir as well. and he was actually born into a cult in Los Angeles. So I'm
Yeah,
interested to pick that one up too. But now I have a 2-year-old daughter in the next room. Last time I saw you, I think my wife was like, had the big baby bump. Um,
that's right.
yeah. So, and I remember asking you, after the first interview that we did right around Santa Rosa Fangs, if the new record would be good for the nursery, and you said sure, and sure enough, it was. But now it's
Yeah,
like it's impossible to work a 8-hour day for me, man. Like my wife's working from home, and we're on toddler watch, when we're not working. So, dude, it's been crazy right now. Um, and my head's spinning and I don't know how to cope. But we got plenty of food in the fridge and we're taking walks around the block and
yep,
could be worse. I want to look back at this time and not think that I was frustrated because I couldn't get all my work done. I want to think like what a, the silver lining, what a blessing it was to be able to spend so much family time.
yeah. That's what it is. Being able to have that time. It's like, well, definitely, it's something that everyone who lived through it's going to remember for our whole lives. And yeah, it's a wild thing to exist in. It doesn't every day it feels really surreal. I used to, yeah, even like late night or something, like after like 9 o'clock or something, I would get hungry and be like, oh, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and get some granola or something, and now all that stuff is all closed down. You can't really go out even during the day. It's sort of frowned upon, but you got to get your stuff. So
Yeah. I stopped smoking, man, because I just didn't want to go to the liquor store to get a pack of smokes. Um, and I'm pissed off all the time, but I'll get over it, I guess.
yeah, I think I
Uh,
started smoking more during this
sure,
time.
right, right. If my family wasn't here, I'd probably be smoking a lot more. MattCosta.com is the website. There is a way for fans to support some of these artists, and you could go and buy the merch, buy the records, and stuff like that. That would help out a great deal because touring has basically come to a halt. I wanted to ask you about the last set of shows that you did. You went on the road with, was it JD and the Straight Shot?
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
wild.
So James Dolan, right? That's his name.
Yeah,
Okay, so he's been to the station a couple of times because he puts out records and then he does the
yeah,
whole promo thing.
yeah,
JD James Dolan is the owner of the Knicks and the New York Rangers, and he's like a billionaire. So
yeah.
I guess to get his creative yayas out, he puts out records under the name JD and the Straight Shot. Um,
Yep.
what was that like? Was it a whole nationwide tour? And did you ask him to be the Matt Costa philanthropist?
I mean, I guess it was a wild thing. I mean, he definitely uh, he was out there putting his heart into it. Those sets, and it was a different kind of tour. For someone going around who has billions of dollars. I think I wonder about the reasons. It's like I guess we all need to do it for different reasons. I feel like I need to create for things and for my own personal reasons, and also the more that I've started doing it, it's like the positive impact that I feel like people have reached out to me and said like during really hard times, it's really helped them through that. And so I think that I feel like that's it seemed like that was his goal as well. He wasn't flaunting around like flashing money everywhere or anything like that.
No, yeah, it's hard to I guess not think about that. Last time he came by, he performed in our studio. He flew out his band on a jet from New York and just flew into Burbank and left immediately after that, which is crazy to think about. I did
Yeah,
want to ask you before I forget. You did
that
something
was the
for
one. That was the one thing I thought. I was like, why aren't we being flown around in a private jet? That's the one thing I was like, one disappointment. I was like, come on, can you at least just buy me my own private jet?
right? Well, one day, God willing, you'll get there. We'll all get there. I love the fact that for you, it's all about Southern California, the whole region. We expanded our coverage down to Orange County, so we get all the way down the coastline through Orange County. Laguna Beach is tough because of the geography of the place.
Yeah,
But if anybody's waving the flag for Orange County, I'm all about it, especially because I spent a bunch of time in Laguna Beach. You went online similar to the Hilltop Hymns. You did a thing for the OC Parks sound check, a
Oh yeah,
virtual concert series, right? And I think that was just a few days ago. Was
yeah.
that the same thing, basically the same aesthetic as the Hilltop Hymns?
A little bit. I've been doing the Hilltop Hymns in my room there, and then I decided I'd go out in my garden and give
Mm.
a little park vibes out there. But yeah, I guess it was sort of similar as far as you know, kind of just performing for that. I think I've done a number of shows with the OC Parks, and really a lot of the community has come out to that, and I always look forward to that in the summers when we do a show or two with them. So it was nice to be able to collaborate with them during this time, and you know, aside from just the Hilltop Hymns.
Um, that's cool, man. Any other artists you're listening to these days? Are you digging on anybody else's music?
Well, I mean, recently I think I was just revisiting some Nina Simone again. I
Oh
was
wow.
listening to I was listening to her. I watched that documentary on her, and so I'd always liked Nina Simone, and so then I went on a little Nina Simone kick in the last week. I was learning some of those tunes that she performed, and she's such a powerful performer. So that was pretty inspiring.
Isn't it interesting where
What's that?
you might just it's interesting where sometimes you just go down the rabbit hole of a genre or an era or a particular artist, and then you go and you read the books and you listen to all the music. And I feel like for me especially, it definitely goes through phases. I went through a punk rock phase where I wanted to get into all the records that came out in 1977 in the New York CBGB scene, and you're doing the same thing with Nina Simone these days. Did I lose you? I lost you, my bro. I gots to go. Listen, you take care of that family in Laguna Beach, and I'll catch you down the road. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.